What's going on, guys? It's NSF Wales, and in today's video I'm going to be showing y'all how fast it takes me to make a million in Pokemon. I'm going to be starting off in the Unova region as I feel it's the easiest one to make money in. As the video goes on, I'm going to be showing y'all what has helped me the most, what things to ignore, and in general just all out tips for starting your journey. One of the downsides to this is that Unova's story is the longest out of all the games, and it usually takes around 20 hours to beat it. The most important Pokemon for me in this run were Emboar, Sigilyph, Scrafty, Krookodile, and Galvantula. This is a team that gave me the best coverage for the story, and I was able to pass through the Elite Four with only some issues. The Elite Four did take me around 2 hours to beat, but that's just because I kept trying to brute force my way through it like a moron. Well, the Ghost and Dark type trainers were pretty easy, and I had a little bit of an issue with a Psychic type trainer. The one that gave me the biggest issues was the Fighting type trainer, and it's mostly because I didn't add Sigilyph until later in the game when I finally realized I just, really can't do anything else besides add a new Pokemon to my team. I ended up spending a little money to train it up and to also just find a good one to help it pass through the story, but besides that, there were really no issues. After managing to stop myself from bashing my head against the wall several times, I finally made it onto End's castle, and I'm still wondering, how did nobody notice a giant ship being built underground? After all the gym leaders ended up joining afterwards, but why did no one invite the triplets? Also, what are the Elite Four members? Like, again, the strongest trainers of the whole region, and you're not helping us fight off like these two. What? Also, why do I have to use actual Pokeballs on Zekrom if I can't keep him? Like, I feel like it's kind of a waste of time, and the catch rate is like super low, or sorry, the catch rate is actually super high, but in general, I just feel like it's a little bit annoying. I just like to complain though, this really wasn't that much of a problem. After all that, N wasn't too bad. It took me about 3 times to beat him, and Guesses took 1. I beat the story in about 22 hours and ended up with 135k, but you'd probably end up with around 160 if you don't spend any money at all. Maybe a little more. A little side note here. It took me so long to be the Elite Four that my Scrafty leveled up 16 times after my level cap went up from 56 to 100. Anyways, enough complaining. The first method I did was payday fishing. I bought a level 52 Munchlax with 30 speed and 30 attack IVs, and Hardy Nature for 100k. It's not really perfect, but it's good enough for what I need it for, so no big deal. The Munchlax needs the moves Covet and Payday with the ability to pick up. What you're going to do is go to Undella Bay and use a Super Rod to encounter a Love Disc. Once you do, you're going to use Covet and take its heart scale if it has one, and if you encounter anything else, you're going to use Payday to knock it out as fast as possible. Normally this method generates around 100k an hour after selling all the items you've collected from Covet and Pickup. The heart scales you'll sell on the market, and everything else will be sold in the shop. Payday fishing does get a little boring after a while, so I ended up switching to my second method, which was fossil farming. You're going to need a Pokemon with Thief or Covet, and a Pokemon with Surf, Cut, Strength, and Rock Smash, and another Pokemon with Fly. You're going to follow the path I show you after this and break the rocks to encounter a Pokemon. Once you do, you use Covet or Thief to take its item if it has one, and it will either be a Plume Fossil, a Cover Fossil, an Everstone, or a Heartstone. All these items you can sell on the global trade market, except for the Heartstone. You'll sell that to the shop. The path I'm showing you here was taught to me by YoungCabagge, who's another Pokemmo YouTuber. Y'all should go check out his videos, and I'll leave his channel linked in the description. Fossil farming for me was probably the easiest method to use. Each run all around takes around 15 minutes to 14 minutes, depending on how many encounters I get. And after an hour, I usually generated up to 150k, but it really just depends on how lucky you can get. The third and final method I switched to was Ditto farming. For this one, I bought a Forester for 60k with a special attack at 31 and special defense and speed as low as possible. With the move Volt switch, I added on later. And also, make sure the Forester is holding onto a lagging tail to make sure it goes after the Ditto. You're also going to need a Pokemon with Spore, and also buy net balls at the mall. They're around 135 each. They're around 1,350 Pokédollars each. Follow the path I'm showing you and go into the dark grass. When you encounter a Ditto, use Volt Switch and bring out your Pokemon with Spore. Put it to sleep, and then use a net ball. Most Dittos sell around for 4k, and are going to make around 240 Pokédollars per box of Dittos. After I was able to save some money up, I bought 4 Pokemon for my gym run. Garchomp and Aerodactyl with 31 attack and 31 speed, and Blastoise and Typhlosion with 31 special attack and 31 speed. And this is the moveset I went with. I bought all of these Mons at level 1, and they range from 100k to 150k. Aerodactyl, I was able to find a cheaper one for 69,000, but it wasn't as perfect as I would have liked it to be. I loaded them up to level 100, which is probably what took me around the most time. I had to, earlier on, I had bought an Excadrill at level 100, so I would be able to use them to farm XP a lot easier, which did drop me around by like 50k, but in the end it really came in handy. Before you start your run, you're going to want to buy an amulet coin to earn more money. I first started out in the first gym with the triplets, and I basically just follow the same order you go through the story, fighting all 8 gyms. After that, I go back to Undella Town and fight Cynthia if she's there. She's really only there during spring and summer. And then I go fight Morimoto, and finish off with the 2 rich trainers in the route above Undella Bay. This method usually gives around 200k after a run, which takes me around an hour, but can definitely be done much faster. Sometimes funny things would happen, like this Blissey that just refused to die after being hit with 3 water spouts. And finally, after 65 hours, I made 1 million Pokédollars. If I'm being honest, this could have been done in between 30 to 40 hours, but I wanted to show off all the different methods that can be used in Unova, since again I feel like it's the best one to start out in if you really want to make money. Also adding to the fact that having to level up several Pokemon to level 100 does take a lot of time. It really just depends on like which plan you end up going with. If anything, I would recommend starting out with fossil farming and then moving on to Ditto farming. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any more suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.